Hello. So I've told you before that when I learn something that helps me turn a corner, I like to share it with you because maybe you can pull from what just happened and you can say, oh my God, that helps me too. This one was about my recent re-epiphany. Video 83, I talked about that quote that led us all to hear with humor that they just don't care about communication that we want to bestow upon them. Whether it's text, calls, notes, they don't care. They just don't care. And they probably don't even read it or listen to the voice messages. Since I've learned that again, I have found a certain, and that wasn't easy to hear and learn again, even though we've been told a million times by this point that nothing is real. You still want to think that they care, right? In the end, you still want to think that they care. But so to learn that wasn't easy. But what I have found is that my choices inside have become easier. And what I mean by that is this. Okay, you might be in no contact. You might be in no contact 6 months in, 6 days in, 1 year in, and you might not have had any contact with them, and you might say to yourself, well, what do you mean, what choices? Many of us are in the stages where even if you're not talking to them, every move is a choice. If they reach out to you and you happen to hear it or whatever, do you respond back? Do you blah, blah, blah? Chances are you're trying to do no contact, ironclad. But there are still inherent choices. Even if you never choose to respond, it's in your brain, right? Well, my choices have become easier because my instincts have shifted. Before, my instinct was to reach out. I'm a decent human being. Somebody sounds like they're in pain. Somebody sounds like they're begging. Somebody sounds like they're crying. My instinct was to reach out. Even if I didn't, and many times I didn't, but my instinct was always that you want to reach out. Or, no, I'm going to try to call and I'm going to not leave anything on the table and I don't play games and I'm an honest person and this is, I'm not leaving any stone unturned. This is more in the fighting stages when you're still having contact. But even then, my instinct is honesty. So that's why I felt all those things. That I'm going to reach out and say my piece and put all of the effort out there. That's that. The instinct has shifted now to reach out anymore because now I'm thinking, instead of thinking I want to reach out because I don't want to leave any stone unturned, now my concentration is on they just don't care. So even if you have an instinct to reach out like I did, because you're a normal, caring human being, let it get suppressed by the fact, the quick thought of they just don't care. I watched my instinct get pushed down. So even if you are maintaining and remaining that internal choice, if you really keep thinking about that they don't care, they won't care if you reach out to them. They won't care if you text them back. They're just texting you and reaching out. And if you do respond, then you're giving them what they want. They want to hit to their tank of supply to know that they can get to you. So it was a turning point to me because my instinct has certainly changed. My instinct is no longer to check to see if they called or you get to that point. It doesn't seem like you will, but the more you think about the fact that they don't care, and trust me, hearing that, listening to that, accepting that they don't care made it easier, but it was very hard to accept because you really want to hold on to the fact that oh my God, that's the wind. You really want to hold on to the fact that there was something there. When your choices start to become easier when faced with contacting them or not, or listening to them or not, you may get to the point, and this is what they recommend, where you see blocked messages and you just delete them without listening to them. Now you might say to yourself, oh my God, I could never, I have to listen. And I understand that. But I'm trying to work towards that point because I think even hearing anything that they have to say can maybe trigger the good person in you to feel the choice to reach back out. We don't even want the danger of that trigger anymore because we all know they don't care. It's easy for us to trick our brains when we hear them being charming or upset or in tears or begging, to trick our brains into thinking, oh my God, he really has changed. I'm sorry, the pollen count, I told you, is very high in Orlando, so I'm all stuffed up. But I love outside. I'm not going in. So it's about your choices being difficult or easy. Mine have become easy the more I think about it. So now it's, if you go to break no contact, say you're in no contact, right? Say you're in no contact and you go to break it. Now the thing is, I stop myself and go, no, I'm not even tempted because I know he doesn't care. It's really a huge thing when you think about it. It will shift your instinct. My instinct is to call people that I love. My instinct is to check on people that I love. My instinct is no longer to respond back to this person giving me falsehoods and selling me something that's not available. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're selling you something that's not available. So at some point, we have to get to the point that we don't care. And I guess maybe that's what's kind of happening. It's getting to the point that we don't care. So if you get to the point that you don't care if your phone is ringing or if there's messages in there or an email or whatever you check, you'll get to the point that you stop checking that. And that's a freedom. What a freedom. Just having my instincts shifted has been a freedom. It's like my instinct is to go the other direction and leave it be. He doesn't care. He won't care. There's zero that we could do to make them be a caring individual. It has nothing to do with what we do or don't do. So bask in that epiphany. If you have to keep saying it to yourself that they don't care, if you have to watch video 83 and read that quote again, do that, please. I want us all to remember that we deserve people that do care and would put in effort to be with us. And I'm not saying every love story needs an obstacle course. It can be a congenial courtship. It doesn't have to be work and toil and all of that kind of thing. But somebody that's willing to show that they care. Somebody who's willing to care. And it's not them. So if you have a narcissist and you're starting to sense that, and you're starting to feel neglected because you're texting and they're not answering you, or you're calling and they're ignoring you, or you're trying to leave emails and they're not listening to you, that's because they don't care. And they're probably not reading them or listening to them at all. So once again, we're putting in all that time and all that energy and all that effort for people that don't care. The epiphany is too great not to ignore. Keep saying that to yourself. I can't stop. It's just what I think. He doesn't care. So I don't think there's anything now that could be in the form of a reach out to which I would affirmatively respond. Because now I just sit back in my own space and go, he doesn't care. Why would I want to give somebody like that any mind? And you might say to yourself, well, you know, you knew that a year ago. You've been researching this a long time. Yeah, but it's something about hearing it put that way, that they don't even read anything. I just think that is probably correct. That they don't read or listen to anything, and they just go bebopping around their lives, and when they're ready to come back in, they start calling us again. And that's when we may hear their voice or get triggered by something that they say. The more you keep telling yourself, A, it's none of my business what they're doing, and B, they don't care what I do to get them back. They don't care if I reach out. They don't care what I have to say. They're not interested in my opinion. They're not interested in me as a human. And what they're doing is none of my business. You can start to feel removed from them. And that's when you can start to heal. Because now you can move forward and think, and don't sweat it. It's tough. You're going to sweat it for a little bit. But once you get through the ugliness of realizing that, you can kind of look at it removed and say, it's none of my business. They don't care. There's absolutely nothing for me here. And you can turn a corner and move on and find your next adventure. You deserve your next part of your life with someone that absolutely cares a ton That's what we all deserve. So just keep that in mind. And I know it's hard to say, but just keep saying it. Okay, bye.